Hello and welcome to our May Ask Me Anything Q&A live Facebook. My name is Andy Hayes. I'm the founder and creator of Plum Deluxe and your host for our Facebook Lives, at least some of them. I need to pour this before it oversteeps. Check this out. Isn't this not adorable? Especially if you like to watch your tea steep, it's like really great. This is the new perfect teapot tea maker that we added into the shop 2 or 3 weeks ago. If it looks familiar and you used to shop at a tea shop that runs with Nirvana and started with tea and Nirvana, then you might recognize it. It is very similar, but new and improved. Same manufacturer, new version. And what's great about it, you just put the tea in, the top in hot water, let it steep, and then you just set it on the mug, and there's a little thing that drains the tea into your teapot. Like magic. Isn't that cool? And then no drip. It's amazing. And then the tea here is perfect for re-steeping. And I saw that we have a question about re-steeping in the queue, so we'll talk about that. But if you like to do a couple rounds of steeping with your tea, this is perfect. You can also throw this in the fridge. So put the water in, cold water, everything, throw it in the fridge. You're good to go. So this is the Tea Club blend from, I'm going to get the months wrong, April. Because we're in May, and as you may have seen on the Facebook feed, that May was lemon raspberry, and so this one was peach elderflower. Very aromatic. That's what I love about that particular combination. Quite tasty. The reason why it was peach elderflower, everybody loves peach in the tea club. It seems like you just cannot go wrong with the peach. So we probably do peach once a year. I try not to do the same thing more than once a year, at least this particular ingredient. And the royal wedding was coming back around, so I guess the royal first anniversary and royal baby, and that was a elderflower tea. So we decided to kind of meet in the middle with peach elderflower. So it's great. So if you have questions about the teapot, you can leave them in the comments. These are in the shop under accessories. $25. My mug is not, but you can marvel it with envy via the internet. Okay, right. So question number 1, what comes in a tea club? Great question. If you've never gotten one, let me help you out there. So what you're going to get is a 1 ounce package of tea, 15 to 20 cups. Not everyone gets the same thing. There's a caffeine and a no caffeine. We also accommodate allergies and different kinds of preferences. So there's some adjustments that happen there. Also, you get a 2-cup sample from our online shop of something that you might want to try. Those are usually the newer blends and teas, but if we haven't released anything new or it's not available in the quantity that we need for Tea Club, then it would be just something out of our rotation or one of the seasonals. And then an insert that sometimes has coupons on it, but there's always a thoughtful message for the month, and then a little story about the tea and what's behind the tea. So I was mentioning before, I'm drinking the peach elderflower, and so there was some interesting things about why we picked that blend and things to think about when you're trying that tea, ways to prepare the tea, and so forth. I think the most important thing, though, I like to comment about the Tea Club really is the community that's behind it. I've never met a more supportive group of people in my life. I tell you, strangers on the internet sending each other supportive messages online and in the mail, supporting people's children in basketball practice, checking in on people when they've had bad things happen to them. It's pretty incredible. And, you're just not going to find that anywhere else. So, I like to say that people come because the tea is amazing and they stay because the community is even better. And so, I hope you'll give it a try if you're not in the tea club, and see what you think. If you are in the tea club, thank you for being a part of this amazing community and for being supportive of your fellow members, because it's amazing. I tell you what, faith in humanity restored. Okay, can I get caffeine free? Yes, you can. Very surprisingly unusual for subscriptions to not have caffeine free, but we do. So it's right on the sign up form. No, it's don't have to look very hard. And if you have any other allergies that you need to know about, not a problem as well. Question: I have food allergies. Can you accommodate that? Yes, although most food allergies that are the most common don't apply. So gluten, soy, dairy, you're all good. You don't even need to tell us. We have those people in our office, and it's all fine. So we try to just avoid that right out of the gate. It's too much hassle, and we don't want it in the tea. We'd rather stick to the basics. But if you have something like grapefruit or coconut, it's probably common ones that I see, or tree nuts, be sure to just let us know. And when you join, there's not like kind of an exhaustive allergy inventory when you sign up. That would be a little tedious. The welcome email that you receive right after you join has a note about allergies, and you just hit reply and follow the instructions. It's super easy. And then Julie, who's our new customer happiness coordinator, will make sure that gets updated for you, and you'll be all good. If the club is $10, why did I get charged $30? Great question. So we charge quarterly for the tea club, and that's 3 months at a time. So for example, if you signed up at the beginning of June, you would pay for June, July, and August. And the reason that is for a couple reasons. First of all, it cuts back on the administration and the credit card fees for us, and that helps us keep the price low. The tea club's been $10 a month since we started, and everything has went up. Tea, shipping, even mailing, envelopes are more expensive. But we've kept it the same, and we're going to do that as long as we can. And so the quarterly does help really make it smoother for us. Also keep in mind, we have to buy the tea weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks in advance to prepare for you. So this just helps things be a little more stable. I also, because it's such a tight-knit community, and as we've grown, it's nice for us to ask for that commitment from new members to give it a try at least for 3 times, and also try to meet some new people and kind of see what we're all about. So that's why we do it that way. And if you don't like it after 3, you can cancel. You don't even have to talk to anybody. It's right on the website. It's on the contact page. It's on the Tea Club sign-up page. It's in all of your email receipts. We don't hide it. So very easy to leave if you want to. What if I fall in love with the monthly club end? How can I get more? That's a great question. Very common, and you can almost always get more. There's been a few instances in history where we have not had extras. And so what happens is we have prepared the tea for the club and we're shipping it, and we wait until about the middle of the month, the 15th or so, and then we do put it on the website in a members area that only members can get access to. And there's instructions in your welcome email that tell you how to access that. Because when you join, you can get teas that happen before you too as well, which is nice. And we don't put it up right away because we don't want to avoid spoilers. Tea club member maybe going in to purchase something and not having gotten their tea yet. So we do wait a little bit for that, but you can always get more online. Sometimes the quantities are restricted because in the tea club we feature teas and ingredients that we couldn't normally feature sometimes in the store because there's so many people with a subscription. It makes it a little easier for us to go out and get more exotic things and so forth. So you can always get more, and 99.9% of the time we offer a discount just as a thank you, so it'll be cheaper than if it were just a store tea. Anne Hale asks 2 questions. When will the next tea swap be? And I believe, and so let me explain that really quickly. Deluxers in the tea subscription trade gifts a lot. I've noticed this. it wouldn't be surprised if people are mailing each other pies and casseroles at this point. But there are organized gift exchanges that Plum Deluxe is not a part of. There's also book groups and knitting circles and different things that we're not, they're like the unauthorized version, I guess. But then we curate a quarterly swap, which is a themed gift swap. So some kind of theme like handmade or vintage or teacup with a tea. And it doesn't even have to be a Plum Deluxe tea. We're kind of open-minded that way. And so there's usually a Plum Deluxe led one every quarter. So, and I believe the next one would be announced late in June for July. So it'd be like a summer thing. Normally we do postcards for the summer since people are traveling. So it's kind of fun that you can get postcards from different places, but you'll have to wait and see. I'm the one who chooses and I haven't chosen. So we'll see. And then Anne also asks, can I purchase a specific tea by the pound? I seem to run out of Hello Sunshine way too soon. Well, that's a shame. Yeah, you don't want that happening. So Tea Club members can purchase tea by the pound. And a pound is 16 ounces, if you did not know. So that's 16 of these in a bigger sachet. That's relatively new. We just launched that officially about a month ago. And it's about half off what you would normally pay. And it's in the club members area. So you go in, just purchase that, and then we just send it with your next tea club. So we don't have bulk teas in the main shop yet. We want to just try this with club members first and see how it goes. But and as of right now, anything goes. So any bulk teas will accommodate. Gina asks, hi Gina, new here. What makes your teas great? Have interest, but have never made a purchase. Well, Gina, we're really glad to have you. I would say I'd love to hear what other people in the live have to say about that. As I mentioned before, I think the people that surround this brand and community are phenomenal, and you won't find nicer tea lovers pretty much anywhere. So that's something in itself. But I also think it's hard to find teas, loose leaf teas that are hand blended and fresh, that don't have hidden sweeteners, that use organic and well crafted ingredients, that are beautiful, they smell great, they taste great. I just think you have a hard time finding it anywhere else. So I would encourage you to explore around in the shop and see what interests you. You don't have to join a subscription to purchase teas from us. That's another question that we get sometimes. There's a whole store full of them, and there's some really fun and invigorating flavors to try. So I just see what tickles your fancy, and I hope you find something that you like. And if you need help picking something, you can always email us. Julie would love to hear from you. She's gotten very good with the recommendations. So if you need something particular mood, or just looking for kind of an ingredient and can't find your way on the website, just email hello@plumdeluxe.com and Julie will help you. Same with Tea Club questions as well. If you don't feel comfortable asking here, you can just ask us via email. No problem. A couple more Tea Club questions. Is the only difference between the caffeinated and non-caffeinated club tea the base tea? And that's Misa. Hi Misa, how are you? That's a good question. Yes, usually, but not always. So sometimes, think about, here's a good analogy. If you're making a pound cake and you want to use gluten-free flour, or you want to make it vegan, sometimes it has kind of a cascade effect, right? You change one thing that's the most prolific ingredient, and you have to kind of fuss with other things. So in that case, the recipes will be slightly different. The May tea, which was lemon raspberry, was like that. There was some nuance to the two different ones, because it was a green and then a rooibos. But like peach elderflower, it was pretty consistent. Definitely makes our lives a little easier if it can be more consistent. But the flavor is the most important. But I don't know if this is implied in your question, but if you got the caffeinated and you wanted to order the herbal, like, are you missing out if you don't? And the answer is no. They're similar, quite similar, just different. And even when the recipes do change, they're still pretty similar. So, and then, is peach elderflower available in the store? It's available if you're a Tea Club member, because it was a Tea Club blend, and so that's only available to subscribers. And so if you are a subscriber, just hop over to the members lounge, which is plumdeluxe.club. I'll mention it here because you have to have a login, and if you're not a subscription, you can't log in. So, and you'll find it over there. And I do believe it ends really soon, because blends stay around for the month they're featured and the month after. So we're coming up on that kind of deadline. So usually we leave it up a few extra days just in case, but time is almost up. So I hope that really helped you, if you don't have a subscription, learn more about what that's all about. And if you have one, maybe remind you of some of the fun things that are available to you that you can kind of forget about, right? Because, it comes in the mail, it's amazing, and then you don't even think about it. So if you ever have questions about accessing your perks, or want to know how something works, or, you want to arrange a tea swap, or you want to meet someone in your local area, customer service, email us. We'd love to help. If you want to meet other people, connect with others, we have the Facebook group, which is open to all customers, by the way. There's a link in any payment receipt that you get, basically, with an order or a subscription. There's a link. Plum Deluxe Tea Lovers. So we'd love to see you over there, and hang out with us. Rachel asks, are there any surprises in store for June other than it's Earl Grey month? Yes. Next question. Oh, I'm sorry. I would never do that. So, so there are a couple things. There's always, so first of all, Earl Grey month is June. For those of you who don't know what that is, every year we kind of celebrate our favorite tea, Earl Grey, or it's a favorite with a lot of our customers, by doing quantity discounts on Earl Grey all month long, up to 30% off. And then I believe 5 limited edition Earl Greys. And if you're in our Facebook group, there's been some chatter about what they are, but they're secret, and some of them nobody knows. I think only like 3 people know. So those will be announced on Saturday, because it's here. June is here. But also there's a $5 tea of the month every month, and so that'll be up on June 1st. And the other thing, Rachel, that you'll want to make sure to pencil in your calendar is June 21st is the first day of summer, and that means summer teas. And so we have 6 or 7 iced teas coming out, mostly the ones that we have had in the past, but there's some reconfiguration happening, so you have to check that out when it goes up on the 21st. Otherwise, just surprises. You just never know with Plum Deluxe. Savon asked, would using alkaline water versus tap water make a difference in the taste of the tea? And on that note, if you brew tea with alkaline water, will it stay alkaline, or is the tea too acidic? So I actually was working a Plum Deluxe event. It would have been almost a year ago now. And there was a person there with the alkaline water. And we tried it, and it's amazing. It does make a difference. Enough to have all that equipment or all the things, for alkaline water. I don't know. It's, you have to try it and see. If you have not had alkaline water, or if you want to learn more about it, you can just Google it. I would recommend trying it, going somewhere that has it to try it first. I don't think, though, and I'm not a scientist, and I'm just playing one on Facebook. I don't believe that the pH of the tea would make alkaline water not alkaline, but it would obviously change the chemical structure of the water. So it would be less alkaline, but it wouldn't totally negate the whole situation. So I would say yes, it makes a difference. Is it better? Yes and no. I only had one taste. Sometimes you might find that some things maybe aren't as good. So it'd be something to explore. Question: are your teas sweetened? That would be an absolute no. No sweetener. No hidden sugars. It's definitely a thing, especially with flavored teas, to load them up with candied fruits, which drives me nuts. So no, we don't do that. If you want sweetener in the tea, we leave that to you. Question: what are the flavors and essences that you use in your tea? Very common question. If you're familiar with essential oils, it's quite similar. They're all natural, made specifically for tea. If you put something like an orange essential oil on tea, it would burn it. And if you put like orange extract, like you might have in your baking kit, the tea would mold because it's too wet. So we incorporate some science to make sure that none of all those things happen. The thing about our flavoring oils is, you can just tell it by smelling it. It just smells very clear and crisp and clean. And also something someone pointed out to me that I think is interesting is after like a year, like the flavor goes away, or it fades. Whereas if you purchase an artificial flavor, it will smell exactly the same like 10 years later. So, it's kind of like the French fry thing where they don't ever degrade. I think it's weird and disturbing in some strange way. So, we're all natural, nothing artificial. It's made from the real thing. So if you have like a grapefruit allergy and it says it has grapefruit essence, then it's grapefruit. So you can't have it. So make sure, and we're very particular about putting the ingredients on the label. So and on the bottom of the product listings as well. It's on the website. So if you are looking for something to get or avoid, you can find it on the ingredients list. We only have about 10 minutes to go. And it looks like a lot of the questions are about cold brew steeping. So let's just take a few minutes and talk about that. Because at least here in Oregon, the days are kind of hot. And, sometimes even in the winter or drearier days, cold teas, nice to have. So the questions I have are about favorite teas for cold brewing. Christina is asking about teas recommended hot brew versus cold brew. And then Aaron asks steeping teas twice. So Aaron, I'm going to talk to you first. At the top of the episode, I talked about the tea maker and how this is handy for steeping teas twice. Which teas? The thing is, it really depends on your personal palate as far as steeping teas twice. So I would really encourage you to try steeping all of your regular rotation teas twice and see what you think. You may find you want to try a longer brew. So if you normally go 4 minutes, you might want to try 5 for the second steep. Or you may need to just add a tiny bit of more tea to the second brew. Or you might want to start off with a little more tea the first time and then use the same amount again for the second time. So that would be my advice. In general, the black teas and some of the herbals are the best teas steeped twice. In my opinion, I know a lot of people would say the greens and whites are amazing, 2 or 3 times. And then we have a tea that's a vanilla rose pu'er, and it's like a little heart. And a pu'er, you can steep that little guy. You can just steep him all night. Steep. I've heard people just like 7 or 8 steeps, and they're loving it. The thing is, it will change. So, you may kind of start really vanilla, and then it's more mellow, and then it's more rose. It changes as it goes. It's tea is a plant. It's a biodynamic organism, and so it's going to change. Just like you change if you get put on hot water. So it's kind of the same thing. So Aaron, I hope that answers your question. Try it. Now, Christina and Suzanne want us to talk about iced teas. So a couple of things to start off with. We always recommend, if possible, cold brew for your iced teas, because number one, you can't mess it up. It just works almost every time, and two, it gets the most flavor. So you avoid any mistakes or getting the tea too hot, blah blah blah, and it's most flavor. The only downside to cold brew is it requires 8 hours to overnight in the fridge. So that's the only thing. So if you forgot to make your cold brew and your party starts at 4 o'clock and it's noon, you gotta go hot and then ice it down. Now, cold brew is really simple. It's 1 to 1.5 teaspoons per 8 ounces of water. Cold water, put it in the fridge overnight. No fancy equipment. Like I said, you could use something like this, your teapot. A mason jar works just fine. You just put it in the fridge, take it out, strain it. You may want to keep it and do a second round. The second round, you'll definitely want to leave it overnight. You'll definitely need 8+ hours. Get all that extra flavor out of there. So that's cold brew in a nutshell. Pretty straightforward. Our website has on the blog lots of info about cold brew. Just go to the blog page, which is under Learn in the menu, and just type cold brew. That search will bring it right up. Favorite teas for cold brew, I was saying earlier that I really like strawberry Earl Grey, which is a black. The porch sipping pecan, which is a black, also really good. The passion fruit abundance green tea, excellent on ice, just amazing. And if you have a hard time making green teas because of the temperature, that's an easy way to not have to worry about that, because cold water is cold. Don't have to worry about it. The white tea is the same thing. The lavender daydream or the afternoon high peach pear can also, you don't have to worry about the temperature. Just cold water, cold refrigerator, overnight. Easy peasy. And then on the herbals, a lot of herbals do well, some herbals don't. But one I do like quite a lot for the cold brew is the Vista, which is apricot lavender. It smells amazing, and it's a great party tea if you want no caffeine. Everybody's like, what does that smell? It smells amazing. So I really like that one. For iced tea, Christina asked a really interesting question, so I'll say it again. Teas that you recommend hot brewing and then pouring over ice versus cold brewing. Probably the only one I can think of is that pu'er that I was talking about, because it's like a little brick. It's like a little heart, and it's kind of pressed. That one, not so great for the cold brew, because the water's going to have a hard time breaking apart the little cake. So that one you could do hot and then ice it down. Otherwise, there's no real reason to not do cold brew, except for if you didn't leave enough time. Because cold brew, you cannot do it fast. You can't just throw the cold water in there and put it in the fridge 2 hours. No. You're going to do that, and you're going to say, Plum Deluxe, that was awful. Why did you say that? We didn't say that. We said 8 hours overnight. So make sure that you give it enough time. That's the only thing. Otherwise, Christina, I think you should go cold brew. Of course, if you need the hit, hot tea, ice it down, it's fine. It's totally fine. I think a lot of people tend to kind of overthink the whole iced tea thing, because there's so many ways and so many methods, and there's adding in baking soda to make it less bitter, or putting citrus in it to make it less cloudy, and it just feels like a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of pain, and it doesn't have to be that way. So just go with what feels right. If you can make the time, do the cold brew. Like right now, you could put a cold brew in the fridge and it would be there tomorrow, and then strain it out and get the next one going, get a little habit going. Otherwise, just no sweat. It's no sweat. Don't worry about it too much. Don't overthink if 1.25 teaspoons is going to taste better than 1 or 0.95. It's all okay. You're going to be just fine. Okay, so I think that concludes all of our iced tea questions. Remember, if you go onto our website, click Learn, you can just put the word iced in that search box. You'll find so many useful resources, recipes, sangria, all sorts of stuff. So don't overlook that resource. Be sure to like Plum Deluxe on Facebook and or Instagram. And then you also be able to catch us when we do our next Facebook Live, which will be the end of June, right around the time of the iced teas. So we'll be probably talking more about iced teas, more about traveling with tea, hanging out with tea for the summer. So if you have questions for our next Q&A that you don't mind waiting on, email those in, let us know. Julie, our customer happiness person, would love to hear from you. Otherwise, it's time for me to go. I'm Andy Hayes, founder and creator of Plum Deluxe, your host for the live Q&As. You're amazing. You are amazing. Thank you so much for checking us out here on Facebook. If you're new, thank you so much if you're a regular and tuned in to chat and support. You guys are the best, and I'll see you next time.